The war had been going on for so long that no one remembered who fired the first shot. Official records claimed clarity, dates, locations, provocations, but soldiers like Captain Adrian Cole knew better. Out here, among fractured star systems and drifting graveyards of broken ships, truth was just another casualty. All that mattered now was survival and orders. Target secured. The voice crackled through Adrian's helmet comm as he stepped over the shattered remains of a blast door. Smoke curled through the corridor, thick and bitter, stinging even through filtration systems. Emergency lights pulsed in uneven rhythms, painting everything in shades of red and shadow. "Repeat," he said, scanning the hallway with his rifle raised. High-value target confirmed. Inner chamber. Minimal resistance remaining. Adrian exhaled slowly. Understood. The enemy vessel had fought hard. It always did. The Arisari weren't just warriors. They were something more precise, more deliberate. Their ships moved like living organisms, adapting mid-battle, shifting defenses in ways human engineers still struggled to understand. And their leadership, that was another matter entirely. "Captain," Lieutenant Reyes said, stepping up beside him. "You think it's really her?" Adrian didn't answer immediately. Instead, he moved forward, boots echoing against metal that still vibrated from recent impacts. The princess. Rumors had spread for months. An Arisari royal leading fleets personally, turning the tide of battles, anticipating human tactics before they were even executed. Some said she was a strategist. Others said she was something closer to a weapon. Adrian didn't believe in legends, but he believed in results. "Only one way to find out," he said. The inner chamber door stood ahead. Sealed. Reinforced. Reyes planted a charge. "Stand back." The explosion tore through the silence, sending fragments scattering across the corridor. Smoke cleared slowly. Adrian stepped through first. And stopped. The chamber was vast, circular, unharmed. At its center, she stood. Not armored, not restrained, waiting. The princess of the Arisari. She was taller than he expected, slender but not fragile. Her posture carried a quiet authority, as if the room itself bent slightly around her presence. Her skin shimmered faintly, patterns shifting beneath the surface like currents beneath still water. And her eyes, sharp, unafraid. Adrian raised his weapon. She didn't move. Behind him, soldiers fanned out, weapons trained, tension thick in the air. "Target confirmed," Reyes whispered. The princess tilted her head slightly, studying him. Then she spoke. "Is it you?" she asked. Adrian frowned. "What?" Her gaze sharpened. "The one who ends this." Silence stretched. Adrian stepped closer. "Drop to your knees," he ordered. "Now." She didn't obey. Instead, she took a slow step forward. Weapons shifted. "Safety," clicks echoed. "Don't move." Reyes snapped. The princess stopped, but her eyes never left Adrian. Then, she raised her chin and said, calmly, "End me if you must." The words hit harder than any weapon. Adrian blinked. "What?" Her expression didn't change. "You have come this far," she said. "You have destroyed my fleet, taken my ship, killed my guards." A pause. It would be inefficient to hesitate now. Adrian stared at her. This wasn't fear. This wasn't defiance. This was acceptance. "Captain?" Reyes urged. "Orders?" Adrian didn't answer. Instead, he lowered his weapon slightly. "Why aren't you fighting?" he asked. The princess considered the question. "Because this outcome was inevitable," she said. "That's not an answer. It is the only one that matters." Adrian stepped closer. "You're the one who's been leading their forces," he said, "turning battles in their favor. Yes. Then why just stand here and give up? For the first time, something flickered in her expression. Not fear. Something deeper. Tired, she said quietly. The word hung in the air. Adrian felt it, not as sound, but as truth. You expect me to believe that? Reyes scoffed. After everything your people have done? The princess didn't look at him. I expect nothing, she said. Her gaze remained locked on Adrian. I only request efficiency. Adrian's grip tightened on his weapon. Name, he said. A pause. Then, Kilira. Adrian nodded slowly. All right, Kilira, he said. Here's what's going to happen. Reyes shifted. Captain. We're not killing you, Adrian finished. Silence. Absolute. Reyes turned sharply. Sir, with respect, that's not our call. It is now, Adrian said. Kilira studied him. You refuse, she said. Yes. Why? Adrian hesitated. Then, because you're not fighting, he said. And I don't execute prisoners. Her eyes narrowed slightly. That is illogical. Yeah, Adrian said. We get that a lot. The transport back to the human carrier was tense. Kilira was restrained, guarded, watched from every angle. But she didn't resist, didn't speak, didn't even look around. She simply sat, still. Adrian found himself watching her, trying to understand. You could have killed us, he said eventually. She didn't respond immediately. Then, yes. Then why didn't you? Kilira turned her head slightly. To what end, she asked. Adrian frowned. To win. She looked at him fully now. There is no winning, she said. Back on the carrier, things escalated quickly. Command was not pleased. You had direct orders, Admiral Hark said, his voice cold over the calm. The target was to be neutralized. I secured her alive, Adrian replied. She's more valuable this way. Or more dangerous. Adrian glanced at Kilira, standing silently under guard. She's not a threat right now. A pause. That's not your call, Captain, Hark said. Adrian clenched his jaw. Then, whose is it? Silence. Then, prepare the prisoner for transfer, Hark said. We'll decide her fate. The line cut. Adrian exhaled slowly. This wasn't over. Not even close. Days passed. Interrogations began. Kilira answered questions, but only the ones she chose. And even then, her answers raised more questions than they resolved. She's not giving us anything useful, Reyes said. Adrian nodded. She's not trying to, he said. Then why cooperate at all? Adrian looked through the observation window at Kilira, sitting calmly, as if none of this mattered. Because she doesn't care what happens to her, he said. That was the problem. It was easy to fight someone who feared death. Harder to fight someone who welcomed it. Adrian entered the room alone. Kilira looked up as he approached. You return, she said. Yeah, he replied. Figured we should talk without an audience. She tilted her head. You seek understanding. Something like that. Adrian sat across from her. Why do you want to die? He asked bluntly. No hesitation. Because I failed. The words were simple, but heavy. How? Kilira's gaze dropped briefly. My people are dying, she said. Our systems collapse. Our resources diminish. Every battle we fight delays the inevitable, but does not change it. Adrian felt a shift in his chest. That's not what we've been told. She looked back at him. Of course not, she said. Then why keep fighting? Because hope is difficult to abandon, she said, even when it is irrational. Adrian leaned back. And you? A pause. I have abandoned it, she said. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. Because something about her didn't match the war. Adrian began visiting more often. Talking. Asking questions. listening. And slowly,
Kilira changed,
not dramatically, not suddenly,
but subtly.
she began to ask questions in return. About Earth, about humans, about life beyond war. You protect your young with great intensity, she observed one day. Adrian smiled faintly.
Yeah, he said.
That's kind of our thing. She considered this. It is admirable. The order came a week later. Execution authorized. Adrian read the message twice, then a third time, hoping it would change.
It didn't.
He found her in the observation room, looking out at the stars. They've made their decision, he said. Kilira nodded. I expected as much. Adrian stepped closer. You don't have to accept it, he said. She turned to him. And what alternative do you propose? He didn't have one. Not yet. But he wasn't done. The escape wasn't clean or quiet, but it worked. Alarms blared. Guards scrambled. And for the first time, Kilira ran. With him. Why? She asked as they reached the hangar. Adrian didn't slow. Because you don't actually want to die, he said.
She stopped.
Just for a second. Then followed. They launched into the void. Together. Behind them, a war still burned. Ahead, something unknown. Kilira looked at him. You have altered everything, she said. Adrian smiled faintly. Yeah, he said. I tend to do that. She studied him.
Long.
Carefully. And for the first time, she didn't look tired. She looked alive. Sometimes, wars don't end with victory. Sometimes, they end with a choice. And sometimes, all it takes is one person refusing to pull the trigger.